You sense the presence of menacing creatures, perhaps giant serpents like Apep, the cosmic serpent of chaos, or crocodile-headed demons. These are not just figments of imagination, they are manifestations of the dangers that threaten the cosmic order. Your Book of the Dead provides specific spells to ward them off, to render them harmless, or even to transform yourself to bypass them. Remember that spell to turn into a falcon. Now might be a good time to use it if you spot a particularly grumpy-looking crocodile. Just don't forget how to change back. That would be awkward. Hey guys, tonight we're going to take a very, very slow boat ride down the river of time, all the way back to ancient Egypt. Imagine, if you will, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and purple over the vast, shimmering expanse of the Nile. The air is thick with the scent of papyrus and the distant murmur of life along the riverbanks. You're not just observing, you're there. You feel the warm, dry air on your skin. Hear the gentle lapping of the water against a reed boat, and perhaps even catch the faint, earthy aroma of the mud bricks baking in the sun. This isn't a vacation, though. This is a journey into the very heart of what it meant to live, die, and hope for eternity in a land where the line between the living and the dead was as thin as a desert mirage. A quick heads up if you were actually transported back there. You'd probably last about 5 minutes before succumbing to dysentery or a rogue hippopotamus. Just saying. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. An obscure detail about the Duat is the presence of lakes of fire or cauldrons of boiling water. While the Egyptian afterlife was not a place of eternal damnation in the Abrahamic sense, these fiery lakes were indeed depicted as places of punishment for the wicked or those who failed the trials. They were often guarded by fearsome demons who would consume the souls of the condemned. So, while you might not burn for eternity, a quick dip in a lake of fire probably wasn't on anyone's afterlife bucket list. It's like a very aggressive spiritual detox. You open your eyes, not to the familiar ceiling of your bedroom, but to a sky so intensely blue it almost hurts. The sun, a blazing orb, beats down, but a gentle breeze rustles the date palm fronds above you. You are in ancient Egypt, a land where the rhythm of life was dictated by the annual inundation of the Nile. This isn't just a river, it's the very bloodstream of civilization, bringing fertility, sustenance, and, most importantly for our story tonight, a profound understanding of cycles life, death, and rebirth. You watch as farmers, their skin tanned by generations of sun, guide their oxen through fields of lush green, a stark contrast to the golden desert just beyond. Everything here feels ancient, yet vibrantly alive. You encounter various divine beings, not all of them helpful. Some are neutral, simply part of the landscape, while others might test you with riddles or demand offerings. You learn to recognize their forms from the vignettes in your Book of the Dead: the hawk-headed Horus, the ibis-headed Thoth, the lioness-headed Sekhmet. Each has a role to play in the intricate machinery of the underworld, and knowing their names and functions is crucial for a smooth passage. It's like a divine pop quiz, and you really don't want to fail. The Egyptians. You quickly realize it didn't view death as an end, but rather as a transition, a natural progression in a grand cosmic journey. It was less of a goodbye forever, and more of a see you on the other side, probably with a lot more linen. You see children playing near the river, their laughter echoing, and you notice how even their games seem to incorporate elements of the afterlife. Miniature boats, tiny clay figures of gods. It's woven into the very fabric of their existence. Not a morbid obsession, but a hopeful anticipation. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists revolves around the precise nature of the demons and monsters depicted in the Duat. Were they literal entities, or were they symbolic representations of the deceased's inner fears, moral failings, or the challenges of the journey itself? Some scholars argue that the terrifying imagery served to emphasize the difficulty of the path, while others believe in a more literal interpretation of these otherworldly beings. It's a bit like arguing whether the monsters under your bed are real or just a metaphor for your fear of the dark. You stroll through a bustling marketplace, the air thick with the scent of spices, fresh bread, and the occasional whiff of something less pleasant, perhaps a forgotten fish. A common historical fact you're reminded of is that the Egyptians were among the first civilizations to develop a complex and systematic belief system around the afterlife, complete with detailed rituals, spells, and architectural marvels dedicated to the dead. They weren't just hoping for the best, they were actively preparing for it, like planning the ultimate, most elaborate retirement party. As you delve deeper into the Duat, the challenges become more personal. You might encounter your own shadow, a manifestation of your negative aspects, which you must acknowledge and overcome. There are also gates of fire that you must pass through, requiring specific spells to extinguish the flames or to protect yourself from their heat. It's a journey of purification, burning away the impurities of your earthly existence. As you wander, you pass by a stone carver meticulously working on a large, ornate sarcophagus. The details are exquisite, depicting scenes of daily life, offerings to the gods, and protective symbols. You can almost hear the soft tap, tap, tap of his chisel. It strikes you that this isn't just a coffin, it's a future home, a final resting place designed to last for eternity. The investment, both in time and resources, is staggering, highlighting the immense importance placed on a successful journey to the field of reeds. You feel the constant presence of the sun, god Ra, even though you cannot see him. His solar bark, carrying him and his retinue of gods, is making its own perilous journey through these very same hours of the night. You are, in a way, hitching a ride on his cosmic coattails, hoping to emerge with him at dawn, renewed and revitalized. His triumph over Apep each night is a powerful symbol of your own potential victory over chaos and death. You observe a funeral procession winding its way through the narrow streets. The wailing of professional mourners fills the air, a haunting melody that speaks of grief. Yet beneath it, you sense a current of hope. The deceased, wrapped in layers of fine linen, is being carried towards the necropolis, the city of the dead, located on the west bank of the Nile, always the west, where the sun set, symbolizing the journey into the underworld. It's a poignant scene, a public display of sorrow, but also a communal affirmation of belief in what lies beyond. The Book of the Dead also provides spells for interacting with the various doors or pylons that separate the different regions of the Duat. Each door has a name, a guardian, and a specific spell or question that must be answered correctly to gain entry. Imagine a series of cosmic escape rooms, but the penalty for failure is eternal oblivion. No pressure, right? An obscure detail you pick up on is the use of shabti figures. These small, mummiform figurines, often made of faience or wood, were placed in tombs to act as servants for the deceased in the afterlife. Imagine, you're finally in paradise, and you still have chores. But fear not, your shabtis are there to do the heavy lifting, literally. If the gods called upon you to work in the field of reeds, these little guys would magically animate and take your place. It's like having a team of tiny, eternal interns. You almost chuckle at the thought, but the solemnity of the procession keeps you respectful. You might also encounter the Hall of Truth, a preliminary chamber where lesser judgments might occur, or where you might be asked to affirm your adherence to Ma'at. This is not the final judgment, but a precursor, a chance to demonstrate your righteousness before the ultimate reckoning. It's like a pre-interview screening before you get to the big boss. The concept of Ma'at permeates every aspect of their lives, and consequently, their death. Ma'at isn't just a goddess, it's the very principle of cosmic order, truth, justice, and balance. You see her symbol, an ostrich feather, everywhere, on temple walls, amulets, even painted on pottery. To live in Ma'at was to live a righteous life, to maintain harmony, and this was crucial for a favorable judgment in the afterlife. It's like a cosmic credit score, but instead of getting a good interest rate, you get eternal bliss. No pressure. The journey through the Duat is also a journey of transformation. With each challenge overcome, with each spell successfully recited, you feel yourself becoming more divine, more powerful. You are shedding the limitations of your earthly form and embracing your potential as a Nach, a transfigured and effective spirit. It's like a spiritual leveling up system, gaining experience points with every demon you outsmart. You overhear a group of scribes discussing a recent discovery of an ancient text. One of them gestures emphatically. The Book of the Dead is essential, But some scholars still debate whether its spells were truly intended for universal use, or if they were adapted for individual needs. An academic debate in the making, even in ancient times. It seems even then, there were lively discussions about the nuances of their sacred texts. It reminds you that history is rarely a perfectly clear-cut narrative. There are always layers of interpretation and ongoing scholarly discourse. Even when the scholars are wearing linen kilts, you pass through fields of reeds that are not the field of reeds, but rather deceptive illusions or challenging landscapes that test your ability to distinguish reality from illusion. The duat is full of such trickery, designed to ensnare the unwary or the unprepared. This is where your knowledge from the Book of the Dead becomes your most vital asset, allowing you to see through the deceptions and choose the correct path. The Egyptians believed that the deceased would undergo a series of transformations and trials to reach the afterlife. It wasn't a direct flight to paradise. It was more like an epic quest, complete with monsters, riddles, and a very important weigh-in. Your physical body, your Khat, was merely the temporary vessel for your Ka life force and Ba personality, soul. These spiritual components needed a place to return to, a recognizable form, which is why mummification was so vital. Without a body, your Ka and Ba would have nowhere to reside, and you'd be stuck in a kind of spiritual limbo, which sounds less fun than it looks on paper. There are also passages where you must navigate through darkness so profound, it feels like it could swallow you whole. Here, the spells for light and guidance become paramount, illuminating your way and protecting you from unseen dangers. It's like walking through a pitch-black maze, but you have a magical flashlight powered by ancient words. You pass by a temple dedicated to Osiris, the god of the underworld and resurrection. His story of being murdered by his brother Set, and then brought back to life by his wife Isis, was the ultimate narrative of triumph over death. He was the prototype, the first to successfully navigate the perils of the afterlife and achieve eternal life. You realize that for the Egyptians, Osiris wasn't just a deity, he was a promise, a beacon of hope that if he could do it, so could they. His cult was immensely popular, offering solace and a clear path for those who sought to join him in the Blessed Lands. You might even encounter the spirits of other deceased individuals, some of whom have failed their journey and are now trapped, wandering aimlessly. Their spectral forms serve as a grim warning, reinforcing the importance of your own diligent application of the spells and adherence to the divine path. You don't want to end up like them, endlessly searching for a spiritual Wi-Fi signal that doesn't exist. As the sun begins its descent, casting long and dramatic shadows across the landscape, you feel the profound sense of reverence the Egyptians held for the natural world and its cycles. The sun's daily journey across the sky, its setting in the west and its rebirth in the east, mirrored their beliefs about the soul's journey. Every sunrise was a reaffirmation of life's continuity, a gentle reminder that even after the darkest night, light would return. It was a worldview deeply rooted in observation, in the predictable and comforting rhythms of their environment. The Book of the Dead also contains maps or diagrams of the Duat, showing the various regions, gates, and the paths taken by Ra's solar bark. While not always geographically precise in a modern sense, these diagrams provided a conceptual framework for the deceased, helping them visualize their journey and understand the sequence of challenges. It's like a very abstract subway map. But for the underworld, you see a family making offerings at a small shrine, placing food and drink before a statue of a household deity. It's a quiet, intimate moment, a testament to the personal connection they felt with the divine. Their prayers aren't just for prosperity in this life, but for the well-being of their ancestors in the next. The living and the dead were not truly separated. They were part of a continuous, interconnected community. You could still communicate with your departed loved ones, leave them messages, and ensure their comfort in the afterlife, much like sending care packages to a distant relative, but with more papyrus and less Amazon Prime. As you approach the deeper, more perilous hours of the night, the atmosphere grows more intense. The air crackles with anticipation, and the guardians become more formidable. This is where your true mettle is tested, where your understanding of the spells and your adherence to Ma'at are pushed to their limits. You are preparing for the ultimate confrontation, the moment of truth that will determine your eternal fate. The very landscape seems to whisper tales of eternity, The towering pyramids in the distance, stark against the twilight sky, are not just tombs. They are colossal stairways to the heavens, monuments to the unwavering belief in a life beyond. They stand as eternal guardians, silent witnesses to countless generations who lived and died with the hope of joining the stars. You feel a sense of awe, a profound respect for a people who dedicated so much of their energy and ingenuity to preparing for what came next. It makes you wonder, what are we preparing for? Probably just the next season of our favorite streaming show. The sounds of the duat are a strange symphony, the distant roar of unseen beasts, the whisper of ancient winds through shadowy canyons, and the constant, reassuring hum of the spells from your Book of the Dead. It's a haunting yet oddly beautiful soundscape, a testament to the vibrant and complex world that exists beyond the veil of life. The air cools and the stars begin to prick the darkening sky, each one a distant beacon, perhaps a soul that has successfully completed its journey. You feel a strange sense of peace settle over you, a calm understanding of their perspective. Death wasn't something to be feared in the same way we might fear it today. It was a necessary step, a grand adventure. It was the ultimate test, but also the ultimate reward. If you played your cards right and had enough shabtis, you realize that this journey is not just about survival, it's about transformation. Each step, each challenge, refines your spiritual essence, preparing you for the ultimate bliss of the field of reeds. You are becoming part of the cosmic cycle, a participant in the grand drama of death and rebirth that defines the Egyptian worldview. And as you emerge from one dark passage into another, you know that the most significant trial still lies ahead, the moment when your heart will be weighed, and your destiny will be sealed. You realize that their entire society, from the pharaoh to the humblest farmer, was structured around this fundamental belief. Laws, rituals, art, and architecture all served, in some way, to facilitate a successful passage to the afterlife. It was a collective endeavor, a shared aspiration for eternal well-being. And as the night deepens, and the sounds of ancient Egypt begin to fade into a gentle hum, you are left with the lingering impression of a civilization that truly believed in forever. The labyrinthine paths of the duat begin to narrow, the shadowy passages giving way to a vast, echoing chamber. The air, which has been thick with the whispers of ancient spells and the distant roars of unseen beasts, now becomes utterly still, charged with an immense, palpable energy. This is it, the culmination of your journey through the underworld, the moment all the mummification, all the spells, all the careful preparations have led to. You are standing on the threshold of the Hall of Two Truths, or the Hall of Ma'at, the sacred space where your heart will face its ultimate judgment. The gentle hum of the ancient night deepens, and you find yourself no longer merely observing, but experiencing. The world around you shifts, not violently, but with a profound, almost imperceptible change. One moment, you are standing by the Nile, feeling the cool evening air. The next, a stillness descends, a quiet that is deeper than any silence you have ever known. Your breath, which moments ago filled your lungs with the scent of river and earth, now seems to hesitate, then simply ceases. This isn't a sudden, jarring end, but a soft, almost tender release. You are no longer tethered to the earthly plane in the way you once were. The chamber is immense, its ceiling lost in a hazy, ethereal glow. Before you stands a colossal set of scales, gleaming with an otherworldly light. This is the scale of Ma'at, the instrument of divine justice. And gathered around it are the gods, a formidable assembly of deities who will preside over your fate. You recognize them from the vignettes in your Book of the Dead, their forms majestic and awe-inspiring. This is it. The moment the ancient Egyptians prepared for their entire lives. You haven't just died, you have transitioned. And the first thing you notice is not darkness, but a subtle luminescence, a soft, ethereal glow that seems to emanate from everywhere and nowhere. Your physical body, your cot, remains behind, a silent, still form. But your consciousness, your very essence feels lighter, unbound. This is the separation of the Ka and the Ba from the physical shell, the initial crucial step into the afterlife. At the center, seated on a grand throne, is Osiris, the lord of the underworld. His green skin a symbol of rebirth and fertility. He is the ultimate judge, the one who has himself triumphed over death. Beside him, in various positions of authority, are the other members of the divine tribunal, the 42 assessor gods, each representing a specific sin you might have committed or avoided. It's like being in a very, very important courtroom. But instead of a jury of your peers, you have a jury of ancient, powerful deities. No pressure. You float, or perhaps drift above your own inert form. It's a strange, almost out-of-body experience, yet oddly peaceful. You see the familiar contours of your face, the clothes you wore, but they feel distant, like a discarded garment. This is the Kat, the temporary dwelling, and as you observe it, you feel a gentle tug, a subtle pull towards something unseen, something beyond the immediate confines of this world. This is your soul, your personality, beginning its journey. It's often depicted as a human-headed bird, able to fly freely between the living world and the afterlife, visiting the tomb and the realm of the gods. You feel this newfound freedom, a sense of boundless possibility, yet also a lingering connection to the form below. To one side of the scale stands Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification, patiently waiting to perform his sacred duty. On the other, poised with his scribe's palette and papyrus, is Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, writing, and magic. He is the record keeper, diligently noting down every detail of the judgment. You feel a tremor of anticipation, a quiet hum of cosmic significance in the air. Alongside your you sense another presence, a vital energy that was always within you, even if you never consciously felt it. This is your Ka, your life force, your spiritual double. The Egyptians believed the Ka needed sustenance, even in death, which is why offerings of food and drink were so important in the tomb. Imagine, even in the afterlife, you still need snacks. It's like an eternal picnic. But with less ants and more divine intervention, the Ka remains tethered to the body, or at least to a representation of it, ensuring the spiritual continuity of the deceased. This is why mummification was so paramount, to provide a permanent home for the Ka to return to. A common historical fact is that the heart, considered the seat of the soul, intellect, and morality, was weighed against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth, justice, and cosmic order. This wasn't just a symbolic gesture. It was believed to be a literal weighing, a precise measurement of your earthly deeds. If your heart was heavy with sin, it would tip the scales. If it was light and pure, it would balance perfectly with the feather. A common historical fact is that the Egyptians believed that to achieve eternal life, the deceased's Kai and Ba needed to be reunited with the body in the tomb each night. This reunion was essential for the individual to become an Ak, a transfigured and effective spirit that could interact with the gods and navigate the afterlife successfully. Without this nightly reunion, the soul would wander aimlessly, forever separated from its potential for eternal bliss. It's like forgetting your keys to get back into your spiritual apartment. You feel a gentle yet firm pull as Anubis approaches. He extends a hand, not to touch you, but to indicate your heart. You remember the heart scarab spell from your Book of the Dead? The one you hoped would prevent your heart from betraying you. You feel its protective magic, a subtle warmth within your spiritual essence. This is the moment of truth for that spell. As you hover, the sounds of the living world begin to recede, replaced by a profound quiet. The wailing of mourners, which you heard earlier, is now a faint echo, almost like a distant dream. You are in a liminal space, a threshold between what was and what will be. It's not frightening, but rather profoundly awe-inspiring. You sense ancient energies, unseen currents, guiding you. Your heart, not the physical organ, but its spiritual essence, floats from your being and is gently placed on one pan of the colossal scales. On the other pan, Anubis carefully places a single, pure white ostrich feather, the symbol of Maat. The silence in the chamber is absolute, broken only by the faint creak of the scales as they begin to move. Every eye, divine and ethereal, is fixed on this delicate balance. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shimmering light. It is Anubis, the jackal-headed god, guardian of the necropolis and overseer of mummification. His presence is calm, authoritative, and surprisingly comforting. He doesn't speak in words, but his presence communicates a clear message the journey has begun, and he is here to guide the initial steps. You feel a gentle, reassuring nudge, a silent invitation to follow. He is not here to judge you yet, but to ensure your passage is orderly and following the sacred rites. Following. This is the moment your entire life flashes before you, not in a chaotic jumble, but as a series of clear, distinct images. Every good deed, every act of kindness, every moment of truthfulness adds a subtle lightness to your heart. Conversely, every lie, every selfish act, every moment of injustice adds a microscopic weight. You realize that even the smallest transgressions are accounted for. It's like a cosmic audit, and they've got all your receipts. You realize that this immediate aftermath of death is not a chaotic free-for-all. It is a highly ritualized process, meticulously planned and executed by the living, but overseen by the gods. Every step, from the moment of your last breath to the sealing of your tomb, is part of a grand cosmic performance, designed to ensure your success in the duat. It's like a very elaborate, divinely choreographed dance. As the scales slowly settle, you feel an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. This is not a test you can cheat, not a riddle you can solve with a spell. This is a direct reflection of your character, your adherence to Mayat throughout your earthly existence. You recall the negative confessions you recited earlier, the 42 declarations of what you had not done. Now those words are put to the ultimate test. Did you truly live by them? An obscure detail you might notice is the presence of the opening of the mouth ceremony. Even in this ethereal state, you sense the echoes of this vital ritual being performed on your physical body, or perhaps on a statue of you. This ceremony, performed by a priest, symbolically restored the senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and speech, to the deceased, allowing them to eat, drink, and speak in the afterlife. It was believed that without this ritual, the deceased would be mute and unable to partake in the joys of the field of reeds. Imagine being in paradise but unable to complain about the lack of Wi-Fi. Truly a horror. An obscure detail about this judgment is the presence of a monstrous creature lurking beneath the scales, Amit. The devourer of the dead, or eater of hearts. She has the head of a crocodile, the forequarters of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, a terrifying composite of Egypt's most dangerous animals. If your heart was found to be heavy with sin, if it tipped the scales against the feather of Mayat, Amit would instantly devour it. This meant the second death, eternal oblivion, the complete annihilation of your soul. No afterlife, no field of reeds, just a very unpleasant snack for a very hungry monster. It's like failing your final exam and then being eaten by the professor. Definitely not a good outcome. As Anubis leads you, you pass through what feels like a veil, a shimmering curtain that separates the world of the living from the realm of the dead. The air here is different, cooler, yet vibrant with unseen energies. You are now truly in the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. It's not a place of fire and brimstone, but a complex, often perilous landscape, filled with both benevolent deities and terrifying demons. It's less hell and more cosmic obstacle course. The tension in the chamber is almost unbearable. You can hear the faint scratching of Thoth's pen as he stands ready to record the verdict. The 42 assessor gods watch with unwavering gazes, their silent judgment adding to the solemnity of the moment. Your spiritual breath hitches, waiting. You see other souls, shimmering like you, some moving with purpose, others appearing lost or confused. This is a stark reminder that not all journeys are equal. The success of your passage depends heavily on the preparations made by your loved ones, the rituals performed, and, crucially, the purity of your own heart. It's like a spiritual airport, where some have first-class tickets and others are stuck in economy, hoping their luggage makes it. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists concerns the precise criteria for a justified heart. Was it a strict adherence to every single moral precept, or was there room for human imperfection? Provided one's overall life was lived in accordance with Mayat scholars, still debate the nuances of divine mercy versus absolute justice in the Egyptian worldview. Was it a pass-fail system, Or was there a sliding scale of righteousness? The texts offer clues, but the exact divine calculus remains a subject of scholarly discussion. The landscape around you begins to take on a dreamlike quality. You see rivers of fire, islands of the blessed, and shadowy caverns. These are the 12 divisions of the Duat, each corresponding to an hour of the night, through which the sun god Ra travels on his nightly journey of regeneration. You are, in a way, following in his divine footsteps, hoping to emerge renewed, just as he does each morning. The scales finally come to rest. Slowly, agonizingly slowly, you hold your spiritual breath. Has your life been balanced? Have your actions aligned with the cosmic order? One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists revolves around the precise nature of the Duat's geography. Some scholars still debate whether the descriptions in texts like the Book of the Dead are literal maps of a physical underworld or symbolic representations of spiritual states and challenges. Was it a real place you could navigate with a compass, or was it more like a psychological landscape you had to conquer within yourself? The answer likely lies somewhere in between, a blend of the tangible and the metaphorical, and then a profound sense of relief washes over you. The scales are perfectly balanced. Your heart, light and pure, rests in equilibrium with the feather of Ma'at. A collective murmur, almost imperceptible, ripples through the assembly of gods. You have passed. You are true of voice or justified. You feel a growing sense of purpose. The initial disorientation gives way to a quiet determination. You are on a mission, the most important mission of your existence to achieve eternal life. And every step, every subtle shift in the ethereal landscape, brings you closer to the ultimate judgment. Osiris, from his throne, gives a subtle nod. Anubis steps back, his duty fulfilled. And Thoth, with a flourish of his pen, inscribes the verdict true of voice. This declaration is the ultimate validation, the divine stamp of approval that grants you passage to the eternal paradise. You have proven your worthiness, not just through rituals and spells, but through the very essence of your being. You observe how the BA is often depicted as returning to the tomb during the day, bringing news from the afterlife to the Ka and ensuring its continued existence. This constant back and forth, this dance between the spiritual and the preserved physical, highlights the profound interconnectedness of life and death in the Egyptian worldview. It's like a daily commute for your soul, but instead of traffic jams, you might encounter a giant serpent. Fun, the threat of Amit, who had been lurking, now recedes. She slinks back into the shadows, her opportunity to devour your soul denied. You feel a surge of triumph, a profound sense of accomplishment. You have faced the ultimate test, and you have emerged victorious. It's like winning the cosmic lottery, but instead of money, you get eternal bliss, and no taxes. As you drift further into the Duat, you begin to sense the presence of other beings, not just gods, but also the spirits of the deceased who have successfully navigated these realms before you. They are like distant stars, tiny points of light in the vast cosmic ocean, offering a glimmer of hope and a silent testament to the possibility of triumph. You are not alone on this journey, though your path is uniquely your own. Now, the atmosphere in the Hall of Two Truths shifts from one of solemn judgment to one of quiet celebration. You are no longer merely a deceased soul, you are an Akh, a transfigured and effective spirit, ready to join the blessed in the field of reeds. The gods who moments ago were your judges now seem to regard you with a benevolent gaze, acknowledging your successful passage. The air, though silent, seems to hum with ancient spells and incantations. These are the words from the Book of the Dead, spoken by priests and inscribed on tomb walls, now resonating in the very fabric of the underworld. They are your protection, your guide, your secret weapon against the unseen dangers that lurk in the shadows. You feel their power, a subtle vibration that reinforces your resolve. You might feel a gentle pull towards Osiris, who now extends a welcoming hand. He is the first to have successfully navigated this path, and he is the one who ushers the justified into the realm of eternal abundance. You are joining his company, becoming part of the divine order. You also become acutely aware of the importance of your name. The Egyptians believed that to speak a person's name was to make them live again. Your name, your identity, was crucial for your survival in the afterlife. It was inscribed on your coffin, on amulets, and within the spells of the Book of the Dead. To be nameless was to be lost, to cease to exist. So remember your name, because it's your VIP pass to eternity. The Book of the Dead has served its purpose in this crucial moment. While the Heart Scarab spell helped, it was your adherence to Mayat throughout your life that truly determined the outcome. The spells were tools, but your character was the ultimate decider. It's a good reminder that even with all the cheat codes in the world, you still need to play the game right. The journey through this initial phase of the Duat is less about grand challenges and more about acclimatization. You are learning the rules of this new reality, understanding the subtle energies, and preparing for the more significant trials to come. It's like the tutorial level of a very, very long video game. But instead of collecting coins, you're trying to keep your soul intact. You might notice other souls, those who have also passed the judgment, now moving through the Hall of Two Truths, their forms shimmering with a similar radiance. You are part of a select company, the truly justified, destined for eternal peace and prosperity. The journey through the perilous Duat has purified you, transformed you, and prepared you for this ultimate reward. You sense the presence of offerings being made in the world above, the sweet scent of incense, the fresh aroma of bread, the cool touch of water. These are the provisions for your Ka, ensuring its continued vitality. The bond between the living and the dead is not severed, it is merely transformed. Your family, your community, continues to support you, even in this new realm. It's a comforting thought, knowing you're not entirely on your own. The sounds of the Duat, which were once filled with the tension of trials, now seem to harmonize into a gentle, welcoming melody. The ethereal glow intensifies, guiding you towards a new passage, one that promises serenity and endless joy. You are leaving the darkness and the dangers behind, stepping into the light of everlasting life. As you continue to drift, the ethereal glow around you intensifies slightly, signaling a shift, a movement towards the next stage of your journey. The initial shock of transition has faded, replaced by a quiet acceptance and a growing anticipation. You are no longer just a soul. You are a traveler, embarking on the most profound adventure imaginable. And the path ahead, though uncertain, is illuminated by the ancient beliefs that have guided countless souls before you. You are becoming part of that timeless procession, moving ever closer to the ultimate destination. This moment of judgment is the pivotal point in the Egyptian afterlife. Everything before it was preparation, and everything after it is the reward. It underscores the profound moral dimension of their belief system, emphasizing that one's actions in life directly impacted their fate in death. It wasn't just about wealth or status, it was about living a righteous life, adhering to the principles of truth and balance. As you drift further into the ethereal currents of the Duat, a new sensation begins to emerge. A subtle pull that draws your attention back to the world you just left. It's not a reversal of your journey, but rather a deep, resonant connection to the physical vessel you once inhabited. You realize that while your Bai and Kay have begun their spiritual voyage, the fate of your earthly body is paramount to your ultimate success in the afterlife. This is where the meticulous and sacred process of mummification comes into play. A ritual designed to preserve your form for eternity, ensuring a home for your returning spiritual essences. As you move away from the scales, leaving the Hall of Two Truths behind, you feel a sense of lightness, a profound peace that settles deep within your spiritual being. The fear of oblivion has vanished, replaced by the certainty of eternal existence. The journey through the Duat was arduous, but the reward is beyond measure. You are now truly ready to enter the paradise that awaits, the land of unending abundance and tranquility, the legendary field of reeds. You sense, almost telepathically, the bustling activity surrounding your inert form. Priests, known as the Wabed, or Pure Ones, move with solemn purpose, their movements precise and practiced. The air, which was once filled with the scent of the Nile, now carries the distinct, pungent aroma of natron, resins, and various aromatic oils. It's a smell that speaks of preservation, of ancient chemistry, and of a profound respect for the deceased. You can almost feel the cool touch of their hands as they begin the sacred work. The profound sense of relief that washed over you in the Hall of Two Truths now transforms into an overwhelming feeling of peace and joy. The eerie glow of the duat fades behind you, replaced by a radiant, golden light that bathes everything in a soft, warm embrace. You are no longer in the shadowy labyrinth of the underworld. You have passed through the final gate, leaving behind the trials, the demons, and the terrifying prospect of Amit. You are now truly in the Field of Reeds, or Aru, the Egyptian paradise, the ultimate reward for a life lived in accordance with Mayat. The first, and perhaps most crucial, step in this elaborate dance of preservation is the removal of the internal organs. This is a common historical fact. The brain, considered largely useless for the afterlife, was often extracted through the nostrils using a long, hooked instrument and then discarded. Imagine your most complex organ, just scooped out like a melon. The other vital organs, the lungs, liver, intestines, and stomach were carefully removed through an incision made on the left side of the abdomen. These were not discarded, however. Oh no, they were far too important. The first thing you notice is the air. It's fresh, sweet, and carries the scent of blooming lotus flowers and ripe grain. You feel a gentle breeze, a comforting caress that seems to whisper promises of eternal tranquility. And the sounds no longer the distant roars or the scratching of Thoth's pen, but the gentle rustle of tall papyrus, the distant murmur of flowing water, and the soft, melodious chirping of unseen birds. It's a symphony of serenity, a lullaby for the soul. These precious organs, considered essential for your continued existence in the afterlife, were meticulously cleaned, dried, and then placed into 4 canopic jars. Each jar was dedicated to one of the 4 sons of Horus, who acted as guardians. Duamutef jackal-headed for the stomach, Happy baboon-headed for the lungs, Imseti human-headed for the liver, and Kebasenuef falcon-headed for the intestines. It's like having a very specific, very ancient Tupperware set for your insides. You can almost hear a priest saying, "All right, who's got the liver? Don't mix it up with the lungs again." Gerald, before you stretches an impossibly vast landscape of lush, emerald green fields, intersected by sparkling canals and dotted with groves of date palms and sycamore trees. The sky above is an eternal, brilliant blue, without a single cloud. Yet the light is never harsh, always soft and inviting. This is the idealized version of Egypt, a perfect, unchanging reflection of the fertile Nile Valley, but without the heat, the flies, or the occasional rogue hippopotamus. It's like a perpetually perfect summer day, but you never get sunburned. The heart, however, was treated differently. It remained within the body. Why? Because the heart was believed to be the seat of intelligence, emotion, and memory, the very core of your being. It was the organ that would be weighed against the feather of Mayat in the final judgment, and therefore it had to remain intact, a testament to your earthly deeds. It's like leaving your brain in for the final exam, but taking everything else out to make it easier to carry. You realize that you are not alone. Other ox, transfigured and effective spirits like yourself, move gracefully through the fields. Their forms shimmer with the same golden light, their faces serene and filled with an inner peace. They are your ancestors, your loved ones, and countless other justified souls who have successfully navigated the perilous journey. There's a quiet camaraderie, a shared sense of accomplishment that binds you all. It's like a very exclusive, very peaceful retirement community. And everyone here earned their spot. Once the organs were removed, the body cavity was thoroughly rinsed with palm wine, which acted as a disinfectant, and then packed with natron. Natron, a naturally occurring salt mixture found in abundance in Egypt, was the star of the show. This desiccant would draw out all the moisture from the body, preventing decay. You sense the body being completely covered in this granular substance, left to dry for a period of up to 40 days. It's a slow, patient process, a testament to the Egyptians' understanding of natural preservation. Imagine being buried in a giant box of baking soda for over a month. Not exactly a spa day. A common historical fact about the Field of Reeds is that it was envisioned as a place of eternal abundance and agricultural prosperity. The justified deceased would spend their days cultivating the rich soil, harvesting bountiful crops, and enjoying endless feasts. This wasn't seen as tedious labor, but as a joyful, fulfilling activity free from the hardships and uncertainties of earthly life. Imagine farming, but every seed you plant grows instantly, and the harvest is always perfect. And remember those Shabti figures? This is where they come in handy. If you ever felt like taking a break from the eternal gardening, your Shabtis would magically animate and do the work for you. It's the ultimate spiritual automation. During this drying period, your Ba might feel a subtle connection, a faint vibration from your physical form. It's a reminder that while you are embarking on your spiritual journey, the earthly preparations are ongoing. Crucial steps being taken to ensure your ultimate reunion and transformation into an Ah. You see canals teeming with fish, and you can almost taste the sweet, cool water. Boats, similar to the ones you saw on the earthly Nile, drift lazily along, carrying souls from one part of the field of reeds to another. There are no currents, no dangers, just smooth, effortless passage. It's like a perpetual, perfectly calm river cruise with endless snacks and no annoying tour guides. After the natron had done its work, and the body was completely desiccated, it was carefully cleaned again. The shrunken, leathery skin was then softened and plumped with oils and resins. This was not just for aesthetics, though the Egyptians certainly appreciated a well-preserved mummy. It was to restore a lifelike appearance, making the body recognizable to the Ka and Ba when they returned. It's like a very, very intense moisturizing routine. But for eternity, as you explore, you come across magnificent dwellings. Not grand palaces, but comfortable, spacious homes surrounded by gardens and orchards. These are the eternal residences of the justified, providing shelter and comfort for your Ka and Ba to reunite each night. You realize that this paradise is not just about spiritual bliss, it's about a complete and harmonious existence, mirroring the best aspects of earthly life, but elevated to a divine level. Now comes the wrapping. A ritual so intricate it could rival the most complex origami. Layers upon layers of fine linen bandages, often hundreds of yards of it, were meticulously wound around the body. Each limb, each finger and toe, was wrapped individually before the entire body was encased. Between the layers, priests would place amulets, small magical charms designed to protect the deceased from harm and ensure a safe passage through the underworld. These could include scarab beetles symbolizing rebirth, the Eye of Horus for protection, or the Ankh, the symbol of life. It's like being swaddled for the ultimate cosmic nap, with added magical security. An obscure detail about the field of reeds is the belief that the deceased would also be reunited with their departed loved ones, and even their beloved pets. Imagine seeing your ancient Egyptian cat, who probably spent its earthly life chasing mice and judging you silently, now frolicking joyfully in the eternal fields. It's a comforting thought, adding a deeply personal dimension to the concept of paradise. So, if you had a favorite pet, rest assured, they might just be waiting for you in the afterlife, ready for an eternal belly rub. An obscure detail about this wrapping process is that the linen used was often repurposed from household textiles, sometimes even old clothes worn by the deceased during their lifetime. This wasn't necessarily out of frugality, but rather a belief that the personal essence of the individual, imbued in their belongings, would further aid their journey. So, that old linen tunic you loved, it might just become part of your eternal wardrobe, wrapped around your preserved form. It's a strangely comforting thought, like bringing your favorite blanket to the afterlife. You might also encounter various gods and goddesses, not as judges, but as benevolent overseers and companions. Osiris, the lord of the underworld, is often depicted reigning over the field of reeds, ensuring its continued prosperity. You might see Isis, his devoted wife, or Horus, their son, moving among the justified, offering guidance and blessings. Their presence reinforces the divine order and the eternal harmony of this blessed realm. As the wrapping continued, priests would recite spells and incantations from the Book of the Dead. These weren't just empty words, they were powerful magical utterances, designed to imbue the mummy with protective energies, to guide the soul, and to ensure the deceased could overcome the challenges of the duat. You sense the vibrations of these ancient words, a low, rhythmic chant that permeates the very air around your physical form. It's a cosmic lullaby, preparing you for your eternal rest. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists concerns the precise geographical layout and accessibility of the different sections within the field of reeds. while texts describe it as a single unified paradise. Some scholars debate whether there were distinct areas or levels within Eru, perhaps reflecting different levels of spiritual achievement or social status even in the afterlife. Was it a single sprawling utopia? Or were there gated communities for the truly elite? The texts are open to interpretation, leaving room for scholarly discussion on the exact nature of this eternal landscape. The final layer of bandages was often secured with a shroud, sometimes painted with images of the deceased or protective deities. A mask, often made of cartonnage layers of linen stiffened with plaster and exquisitely painted, was placed over the head and shoulders. For royalty, this mask could be made of solid gold, a shimmering beacon of their divine status. This mask wasn't just a portrait, it was another means of ensuring the Ka and Ba could recognize their physical home. Imagine waking up in the afterlife and not recognizing your own face. Awkward. The concept of time here is fluid, almost non-existent. There is no night or day in the way you knew it, but rather an eternal dawn, a perpetual state of gentle light. You feel no hunger, no thirst, no weariness. Every need is met, every desire fulfilled. It's a state of pure contentment, a profound sense of belonging and well-being. Imagine never having to set an alarm again, or worry about your phone battery dying. True bliss. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists concerns the exact methods and materials used in mummification for different social classes. While we have extensive knowledge of royal and elite mummification, scholars still debate the precise techniques used for commoners, who likely received a simpler, less expensive form of preservation, or perhaps even just a natural desiccation in the desert sand. Was there a budget mummification option? Or did everyone get the full VIP treatment, just with less gold? The archaeological record provides clues, but definitive answers remain elusive. You see souls engaging in activities they enjoyed in life, playing board games like Sonnet, composing music, or simply enjoying quiet contemplation by the canals. The Field of Reeds is not a static, boring place. It's a dynamic, fulfilling existence where you can pursue your passions and enjoy the company of other blessed souls for eternity. It's like a never-ending vacation, but you actually enjoy the company. The entire process, from the moment of death to the final wrapping, could take up to 70 days. This long period was not arbitrary. It allowed ample time for the body to fully dry, for the rituals to be performed correctly, and for the family to mourn and prepare the tomb. It was a period of intense activity, both practical and spiritual, a bridge between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. The Book of the Dead also contains spells that describe the joys of the Field of Reeds, detailing the abundance of food, the beauty of the landscape, and the happiness of the justified. These spells weren't just instructions for getting there. They were also aspirational descriptions, painting a vivid picture of the ultimate reward. They served to motivate the living to adhere to Ma'at and to undergo the necessary rituals, knowing what awaited them. You recall the opening of the mouth ceremony, which we touched upon earlier. This ritual, often performed just before the mummy was sealed in its coffin, was the symbolic reanimation of the deceased. A priest, using special tools, would touch the mouth, eyes, and ears of the mummy or a statue, symbolically restoring the senses and allowing the deceased to eat, drink, and speak in the afterlife. Without this, your eternal picnic would be a very quiet, very bland affair. You might even see the sun, God Ra, in his solar bark, making his daily journey across the celestial waters that border the Field of Reeds. His presence is a constant reminder of the cosmic cycle, the continuous renewal that encompasses both life and death. You are now part of that grand cycle and a participant in the eternal dance of creation and recreation. The finished mummy, your perfectly preserved form, was then carefully placed within a series of coffins, often nested one inside the other like Russian dolls. These coffins were typically made of wood, painted with vibrant scenes and hieroglyphs, and shaped in the likeness of the deceased. The innermost coffin, especially for the wealthy, might be a sarcophagus of stone, a massive, impenetrable fortress designed to protect the body for all time. Remember that stone carver you saw earlier? He was crafting one of these eternal homes. The Field of Reeds is also a place of knowledge and wisdom. You can converse with the gods, learn the secrets of the universe, and deepen your understanding of cosmic order. It's like an eternal university, but all the professors are deities, and the curriculum is pure enlightenment, and no tuition fees. The meticulousness of the mummification process speaks volumes about the Egyptian belief system. It wasn't just about preserving the body, it was about preserving the identity of the individual, ensuring their continuity in the afterlife. They believed that if the body decayed beyond recognition, the Ka and Ba would have no anchor, no place to return, and the journey to eternal bliss would be forever thwarted. It's like making sure your spiritual GPS always has a home address to navigate back to. The Egyptian paradise was not merely a place of passive enjoyment, it was a place of active participation in the divine order. The justified souls were believed to assist Ra in his nightly battle against Apep, ensuring the sun's rebirth each morning. You are not just resting on your laurels, you are contributing to the cosmic balance, playing a vital role in the continuation of creation. It's like being part of a divine superhero team, but your superpower is eternal righteousness. You sense the finality of the wrapping, the last layer of linen being smoothed into place. Your physical form is now ready, a perfectly preserved vessel, waiting for the moment when your Kai and Ba will return to it, allowing you to fully transform into an Ak. This transformation is the ultimate goal, the key to navigating the perilous Duat and achieving eternal life in the field of reeds. The tranquility of the field of reeds is profound. There are no conflicts, no sorrows, no pain. The anxieties of earthly life, the fear of death, the burden of judgment all have melted away. You are free, truly free, to exist in a state of perfect harmony and abundance. It's the ultimate chill zone, where every day is a good day, and there's never any drama. The air around you, though still ethereal, now feels charged with a renewed sense of purpose. The preparation of your physical body is complete, a monumental undertaking that underscores the profound importance of this journey. You are no longer just a drifting consciousness, you are a soul with a destination, and a meticulously prepared vessel awaiting your return. The next step, you realize, involves the very place where this vessel will rest. A sanctuary designed to provide for your every need in the eternal realm. You feel a deep connection to the Nile, even here. The canals and waterways that crisscross the field of reeds are a reflection of the earthly river, emphasizing its sacred role in their worldview. The Nile was not just a source of life, it was a pathway to eternity, a symbol of the continuous flow of existence. With your physical form now meticulously prepared and resting within its nested coffins, your bait, still drifting in the ethereal realm, feels a new pull, a gravitational force drawing you towards your final earthly resting place, the tomb. This isn't just a hole in the ground, it's a meticulously crafted sanctuary, a home designed to provide for your every need in the eternal realm, a bridge between the world of the living and the vast expanse of the Duat. You sense the journey of your mummy, carried by solemn bearers, moving towards the necropolis, the city of the dead, always situated on the west bank of the Nile, where the sun made its daily descent into the underworld. As you settle into this eternal paradise, you realize the profound beauty and hope inherent in the ancient Egyptian belief in the afterlife. It wasn't a dark, terrifying abyss, but a vibrant, joyful continuation of existence. A place where all your earthly desires were fulfilled in a perfect, divine setting. You have achieved the ultimate goal, a timeless existence in a land of unending bliss. You arrive, not physically, but as a silent observer, at the entrance of your tomb. For the wealthy and powerful, this might be a grand mastaba, a flat-topped, rectangular superstructure with sloping sides, or a rock-cut tomb carved deep into the cliffs of the Valley of the Kings or Queens. For others, it could be a simpler shaft tomb or even a pit burial. Regardless of its grandeur, each tomb served the same fundamental purpose to protect the body, house the Ka, and provide all the necessary provisions for the deceased's eternal journey. It's like a very exclusive, very permanent, underground Airbnb. The soft light of the eternal dawn bathes you, and the gentle sounds of the field of reeds lull you into a state of profound contentment. You have arrived. Your journey is complete, and the peace you feel is absolute. A quiet whisper of forever. As your mummy is carefully brought inside, you notice the cool, dry air within the tomb. The walls are not bare. They are a vibrant tapestry of painted scenes and hieroglyphic inscriptions. This is a common historical fact. Egyptian tombs were often elaborately decorated with scenes depicting the deceased's life, offerings to the gods, and protective spells from texts like the Book of the Dead. These weren't just pretty pictures, they were functional magic, designed to ensure the deceased's well-being and successful passage through the afterlife. Imagine having your entire life story, plus a few cheat codes for the underworld, painted on your bedroom walls. As you bask in the tranquil glow of the Field of Reeds, a deeper understanding of the cosmic tapestry begins to unfold. Your journey through the Duat and your ultimate arrival in Eru weren't solely dependent on your own righteousness or the spells of the Book of the Dead. You realize that throughout your perilous voyage, and even now in paradise, you were constantly interacting with a vast pantheon of divine beings, some benevolent allies, others menacing foes, who either aided or obstructed your path to eternity. Their roles were as intricate and vital as the very breath of life itself. You see depictions of yourself, perhaps overseeing bountiful harvests, enjoying a feast, or playing a board game. These scenes were not merely nostalgic. They were intended to magically recreate these pleasant activities for you in the afterlife. If you painted a picture of a delicious meal, it was believed that you would have that meal in eternity. It's like a cosmic manifestation board, but instead of vision boards, they had entire tomb walls. So, if you ever wondered why they didn't paint scenes of, say, doing laundry or paying taxes, now you know. Even in the serene Field of Reeds, the presence of the gods is palpable. You see Osiris, the lord of the underworld, moving amongst the justified, his green skin a testament to his own triumph over death, and his role as the first Ak. He is the benevolent ruler of this paradise, ensuring its continued abundance and harmony. His very presence is a comforting anchor, a reminder that you are now part of his eternal domain. He is the ultimate success story, and you are now a part of his everlasting kingdom. The tomb is divided into several sections. There's the offering chapel, accessible to your living relatives, where they can bring food and drink for your ka. This is where the connection between the living and the dead is maintained, a continuous flow of sustenance and remembrance. You feel a warmth, a sense of being cared for, as you sense the devotion of your family. Then there's the burial chamber itself, often deep within the tomb, where your sarcophagus will be placed. This chamber is typically sealed off after the burial, a sacred space meant to remain undisturbed for eternity. Beside him, you might glimpse Isis, his devoted wife and the great magician. Her love and power were instrumental in resurrecting Osiris, and she continues to be a protector and nurturer, a divine mother figure for the justified. Her wisdom and compassion radiate through the Field of Reeds, a gentle force that ensures the well-being of all who reside there. It's like having the most powerful and loving cosmic parents looking out for you. Within the burial chamber, or sometimes in an adjacent room, you see an array of objects. These are your grave goods, a collection of items deemed essential for your comfort and prosperity in the afterlife. For a pharaoh, this could be an unimaginable treasure trove of gold, jewels, furniture, and chariots. For a commoner, it might be simpler, perhaps a few pots of food, some tools, and personal effects. But the principle was the same. You needed everything you had in life, and more, to thrive in the next. It's like packing for a very, very long trip, where you can't just pop to the shops if you forget your toothbrush. And then there is Horus, the hawk-headed son of Osiris and Isis, who avenged his father and became the rightful king. He represents divine kingship, order, and justice. His presence in the Field of Reeds symbolizes the triumph of order over chaos, a constant reaffirmation that the cosmic balance, Ma'at, is maintained. He is the vigilant guardian, ensuring no discord enters this peaceful realm. You see miniature models of boats, symbolizing your journey across the cosmic waters, and models of workshops, ensuring you have craftsmen to produce whatever you might need. There are also jars of food, dried meat, bread, beer, and wine, all magically intended to sustain your ka. Imagine eternal beer. Though one wonders about the bathroom situation in the afterlife. No one ever paints those scenes. A common historical fact is that the Egyptians believed the gods were not distant, abstract entities, but active participants in both the earthly and spiritual realms. They had personalities, relationships, and even conflicts, much like humans, but on a grander cosmic scale. Their interactions directly influence the fate of individuals, making it crucial for the deceased to know their names, their attributes, and the correct spells to invoke their aid or appease their wrath. It's like knowing which divine celebrity to call for a favor, and which ones to avoid at all costs. An obscure detail you might notice is the inclusion of reserve heads in some Old Kingdom tombs. These were unpainted, life-sized limestone or clay heads, sometimes placed in the burial chamber. Their exact purpose is still debated, but one theory suggests they were a backup body, a substitute for the cot in case the mummified body was damaged or destroyed. It's like having a spare tire for your eternal vehicle, just in case you hit a spiritual pothole. Beyond these primary deities, you recall the countless other gods who played specific roles in your journey. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, was your first guide, overseeing your mummification and leading you to the Hall of Two Truths. His solemn, unwavering presence was a crucial comfort in the initial disorientation of death. He was the ultimate funeral director, ensuring everything was done according to divine protocol. The walls of the burial chamber are often covered with even more intricate spells and protective texts, specifically designed to ward off evil spirits and guide you through the perilous paths of the Duat. These are not just decorations, they are your ultimate security system, a magical firewall against the forces of chaos. You sense the power emanating from these hieroglyphs, a silent hum of ancient magic. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, writing, and magic, was the meticulous record-keeper at your judgment, ensuring every detail was noted and every spell correctly recited. His knowledge was boundless, and his impartiality was absolute. He was the cosmic notary, making sure all the paperwork for your eternal life was in order. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists revolves around the extent to which grave goods were actually used in the afterlife versus their symbolic function. Were the Egyptians truly expecting to eat the dried bread? Or was it the idea of the bread that mattered? Scholars still debate whether the magical activation of these items was literal or more metaphorical, a question that delves deep into the nuances of their spiritual beliefs. It's like arguing whether your lucky socks actually help you win, or if it's just your belief in them. You also remember the 42 assessor gods in the Hall of Two Truths, each representing a specific sin. While they were judges, their presence was also a form of guidance, a clear outline of the moral code you were expected to live by. They were the divine checklist, ensuring you stayed on the path of Ma'it. It's like a very strict but ultimately fair panel of cosmic auditors. You also notice the presence of your Shabti figures, those tiny mummiform servants we talked about earlier. They are neatly arranged, waiting for their call to action. If Osiris, the Lord of the Underworld, ever commanded you to perform manual labor in the field of reeds, these little guys would spring to life and do the work for you. It's the ultimate loophole in the afterlife's chore list. Oh, you want me to plow that field? My Shabtis will get right on that. I'll just be here, enjoying my eternal beer. But for every ally, there were potential foes. The Duat was teeming with menacing demons and monstrous entities, manifestations of chaos and disorder. The most formidable of these was Apep, the colossal serpent, the embodiment of cosmic chaos, who sought to swallow the sun god Ra each night and plunge the universe into eternal darkness. While you didn't directly battle Apep, Ra's nightly struggle against him was a constant backdrop to your own journey, a reminder of the forces you were indirectly overcoming. It's like the ultimate supervillain, always lurking, always threatening to ruin everyone's day and eternity. The design of the tomb itself is a testament to the Egyptian worldview. The false doors, often carved into the walls of the offering chapel, were not for human entry but for the Ka to pass through, allowing it to move between the burial chamber and the world of the living to receive offerings. It's a spiritual portal, a one-way street for your soul to pop out for a quick snack. You recall the various crocodile-headed, lion-headed, or serpent-bodied demons that guarded gates, lurked in fiery lakes, or tried to obstruct your path in the Duat. These were not just random monsters, they were personifications of the dangers and challenges of the underworld, designed to test your resolve and your knowledge of the protective spells. They were the ultimate bouncers, ensuring only the worthy made it through. The sheer effort and resources poured into constructing and furnishing these tombs is mind-boggling. It underscores the profound belief that the afterlife was not just a possibility, but a certainty, and that a successful transition was the most important goal of one's existence. Kings and queens would begin planning and building their tombs the moment they ascended to the throne. A lifelong project dedicated to their eternal well-being. It's like planning your retirement party from the day you start your first job, but with more gold and fewer awkward speeches. An obscure detail about these demonic entities is that some of them were not inherently evil, but rather guardians who simply needed to be appeased or correctly identified. Knowing their names and the specific spells to address them was often enough to gain safe passage. It's like dealing with a grumpy toll collector. Sometimes all you need is the right phrase and a smile or a powerful incantation. This nuance highlights the complexity of the Egyptian worldview, where even seemingly malevolent forces had a place within the cosmic order. You sense the moment your sarcophagus is carefully lowered into its final resting place within the burial chamber. The air shifts again, becoming heavier, more profound. This is the ultimate sealing, the moment your cot is truly separated from the world of the living, protected for its eternal sleep. The priests perform final rites, their voices a low murmur, their movements solemn and deliberate. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists revolves around the precise hierarchy and relationships between these various gods and demons. While some deities clearly held more power, scholars still debate the exact pecking order and how their spheres of influence overlapped or diverged. Was there a clear chain of command, or was it more of a fluid, interconnected network of divine beings? The nuances of their theological structure continue to be a subject of scholarly discussion and interpretation. The tomb is then sealed, often with massive stone blocks, and the entrance might be concealed to deter tomb robbers. This was a constant battle, as the rich grave goods were a tempting target. Despite all the magical protections and physical barriers, many tombs were indeed plundered throughout history. It seems even in ancient Egypt, some people just couldn't resist a good smash and grab. The Book of the Dead was your ultimate weapon against these foes, providing specific spells to repel them, to blind them, or to transform yourself to bypass their threats. You remember the relief you felt when a particularly nasty-looking demon recoiled as you recited the correct incantation, its power nullified by the ancient words. It was a constant reminder that knowledge, combined with divine favor, was your greatest defense. As the last rays of sunlight are blocked by the ceiling of the tomb, your Ba feels a deep sense of completion. Your physical vessel is now secure, protected, and provisioned. This meticulously prepared home is ready to receive your Kai and Ba each night, allowing for the crucial reunion that will enable your transformation into an Ak. You also recall the role of the Aku, the blessed dead, who had successfully navigated the Duat before you. While not gods themselves, these transfigured spirits could also act as allies, offering guidance or protection to those still on their journey. Their presence in the field of reeds is a testament to their success, and their quiet camaraderie offers a sense of shared victory. They are the veterans of the afterlife, ready to welcome new recruits. The stillness within the tomb is absolute, a silence that resonates with the weight of eternity. Yet, it is not an empty silence. It is filled with the promise of rebirth, the echoes of ancient spells, and the silent vigil of your grave goods, all waiting to serve you in the next life. You are now truly ready for the next stage of your journey, a journey that will take you through the perilous depths of the Duat, armed with the most important guide of all the sacred words that will light your way. The Egyptians' understanding of the divine was deeply intertwined with their natural world. The sun god Ra's daily journey mirrored the cycle of life and death. The Nile's annual inundation symbolized rebirth and fertility. Even the animals, the jackal, the ibis, the crocodile, were seen as manifestations or symbols of divine power. Their gods were not separate from creation, they were woven into its very fabric. As your Ba hovers near your sealed tomb, a profound realization settles upon you. You have a meticulously prepared body, a well-stocked eternal home, and even a team of tiny magical servants. But how do you actually navigate the perilous journey ahead? How do you bypass the monstrous guardians, answer the riddles of the gods, and ensure your heart passes the ultimate test? The answer, you instinctively understand, lies in the ancient texts. The sacred words that have been inscribed on your coffin, on your tomb walls, and perhaps even wrapped within the very bandages that encase your mummified form. This is where the indispensable Book of the Dead comes into play. Your personal map, cheat sheet, and ultimate survival guide for the duat. You realize that your success in the afterlife was a collaborative effort. Your living family provided the mummification and tomb provisions. The priest performed the sacred rituals. The Book of the Dead provided the knowledge. And the gods, both allies and those you had to overcome, played their part in testing and guiding you. It was a grand cosmic dance, with every participant playing a crucial role. You don't physically hold a book, of course. Instead, you feel its presence, its knowledge, resonating within the ethereal currents of the underworld. It's less a paperback novel and more a cosmic data download directly into your spiritual consciousness. The Book of the Dead is actually a modern term given to a collection of funerary texts, spells and incantations that ancient Egyptians used from the New Kingdom period around 1550 BCE onwards. Its original Egyptian title was The Book of Coming Forth by Day, which sounds much more optimistic, doesn't it? Like a guide to having a really good morning, even after being dead for a while. Even in the field of reeds, the balance between order and chaos, represented by Ma'at and Apep, is a constant underlying principle. The eternal bliss of Aru is maintained because the gods continue their cosmic duties, ensuring the sun rises, the Nile floods, and order prevails. You are not just enjoying paradise, you are part of the system that maintains it. A common historical fact is that these texts were not standardized into a single, canonical book. Instead, they were a compilation of spells, prayers, and hymns that varied widely depending on the individual, the period, and the region. Wealthy individuals would commission their own personalized Book of the Dead papyri, often beautifully illustrated with vignettes depicting the spells in action. For those less affluent, essential spells might be inscribed directly onto their coffins, tomb walls, or even linen shrouds. It was like having a custom-made textbook for your afterlife journey, or at least a very helpful set of flashcards. The very concept of the afterlife, with its divine allies and ancient foes, provided a framework for understanding the universe and one's place within it. It gave meaning to life, purpose to death, and hope for eternity. It was a complex, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying worldview, but one that offered profound comfort and a clear path to salvation. You begin to access this vast compendium of knowledge. Spell 1, for instance, is often an affirmation of identity, ensuring you know who you are and that you are ready to embark on your journey. Imagine forgetting your name just as you're about to meet the gods. Awkward. These opening spells are designed to give you confidence, to assert your divine right to pass through the underworld. You feel a surge of ancient power as these words resonate through your spiritual being, a quiet affirmation of your existence beyond death. As you reflect on the roles of these divine beings and the challenges they presented, you appreciate the intricate design of the Egyptian afterlife. It was a journey of tests and triumphs, overseen by a pantheon of powerful entities, all leading to this ultimate state of peace and abundance. You are forever grateful for the allies who guided you, and stronger for having overcome the foes who sought to impede your way. As you delve deeper, you encounter spells for every conceivable challenge you might face. There are spells to prevent your heart from being stolen by demons, spells to ensure you can breathe in the afterlife because, apparently, that's not a given, and spells to repel dangerous snakes and crocodiles that might lurk in the watery paths of the duat. It's like a magical Swiss Army knife, but instead of a tiny saw, you get a powerful incantation against a fire-breathing serpent. Much more practical, if you ask me. As you settle deeper into the tranquil bliss of the field of reeds, the individual triumph of your journey begins to expand into a grander, more profound understanding. You realize that your personal passage through death and into eternal life is not an isolated event, but a single, intricate thread in a vast, unending tapestry, the cosmic dance of rebirth that permeates every aspect of ancient Egyptian belief. It's a cyclical worldview, where death is merely a temporary pause, a necessary transformation before a glorious return. Much like the sun's daily journey or the Nile's annual flood, you realize that these spells are not merely requests to the gods. They are often declarative statements, asserting your divine right and power. You are not begging for passage, you are demanding it, armed with the sacred knowledge passed down through generations. I am the god, I am the god. Some spells proclaim, aligning the deceased with the divine and granting them authority over the forces of the underworld. It's a very confident approach to the afterlife, almost like a spiritual mic drop. You feel the rhythm of this cosmic cycle in the very air of Aru, the eternal dawn, the gentle flow of the canals, the endless abundance of the fields. All speak of renewal, of life perpetually emerging from what appears to be an end. The Egyptians didn't just believe in an afterlife. They believed in a universe constantly in motion, a grand, divine machine of creation and recreation. Your own journey is a microcosm of this universal principle. An obscure detail about the Book of the Dead is the inclusion of negative confessions. Before the final judgment, you would recite a list of 42 declarations, affirming that you had not committed certain sins. For example, I have not stolen. I have not killed. I have not told lies. It's like a very, very long I didn't do it list, but for your entire life. What makes it obscure is that some scholars believe these confessions weren't necessarily about actual innocence, but rather a ritualistic purification, a way to ritually cleanse oneself of impurities before facing the divine judges. So, you might have told a white lie about that extra piece of cake, but as long as you said you didn't, you were probably good. Probably. The most prominent symbol of this cosmic dance is, of course, the sun god Ra. You sense his presence, a radiant warmth that permeates the field of reeds, even though you don't directly see his solar bark. Each night, as you navigated the perilous Duat, Ra was making his own journey through those same dark realms, battling the forces of chaos, particularly the monstrous serpent Apep. His triumph over Apep each morning, his glorious rebirth at dawn, was the ultimate reassurance for the Egyptians. If Ra could emerge renewed, so too could the deceased. It's like a daily cosmic pep talk from the sun itself. The vignettes, the small illustrations accompanying the spells, are equally important. They visually depict the rituals, the gods, and the dangers, serving as a visual aid for the deceased. Imagine trying to follow complex instructions without pictures. Now imagine those instructions are for navigating a demon-infested underworld. The illustrations were a crucial part of the Book of the Dead, making the abstract concepts more tangible and providing a visual roadmap for the soul. This daily cycle of the sun was a common historical fact that profoundly shaped their understanding of life and death. The sun's setting in the west symbolized death and the entry into the underworld, while its rising in the east represented rebirth and the return to life. This wasn't just a metaphor, it was a literal, observable truth that reinforced their deepest spiritual convictions. They saw the universe as a living, breathing entity, constantly dying and being reborn. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists centers on the literacy of the average Egyptian and how widely accessible the Book of the Dead truly was. While the elite could afford personalized copies, scholars still debate how commoners, who were largely illiterate, would have accessed or understood these complex texts. Was it through oral tradition, simplified versions, or did they rely entirely on the priest to perform the necessary rites on their behalf? The question highlights the social stratification of access to spiritual knowledge in ancient Egypt. You recall the annual inundation of the Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt. Each year the river would swell, overflowing its banks, depositing rich, fertile silt across the land. And then, as the waters receded, life would burst forth from the seemingly barren earth. This natural phenomenon was another powerful symbol of rebirth, a tangible example of life emerging from what appeared to be destruction. The Nile was not just a river, it was a divine artery, pumping the very essence of renewal into the land and its people. It's like a giant annual reset button for the entire ecosystem, and it always worked. You find spells dedicated to transforming into various animals or divine beings, allowing you to bypass obstacles or gain special abilities. Want to turn into a falcon to fly over a river of fire? There's a spell for that. Need to become a lotus flower to avoid a lurking demon covered? It's like having a spiritual shape-shifting ability, making your journey through the Duat much more exciting, and significantly less likely to involve being eaten. The god Osiris, the lord of the underworld and the ruler of the field of reeds, is the quintessential embodiment of this cosmic dance. His myth of being murdered by his brother Set, dismembered, and then resurrected by Isis, is the ultimate narrative of death and rebirth. He was the first to successfully navigate the duat and achieve eternal life, becoming the prototype for all justified deceased. You are now part of his eternal kingdom, participating in his ongoing cycle of renewal. He's the original comeback kid, and you're now on his team. There are also spells specifically designed to ensure your memory remains intact. The Egyptians believed that to be forgotten was to truly die, even in the afterlife. So spells to remember your name, your family, and your earthly life were vital. It's like a cosmic memory foam pillow for your brain, ensuring you don't wake up in paradise wondering who you are or why you're suddenly surrounded by shabtis. You realize that your mummification, the meticulous preservation of your cot, was not just about protecting your body. It was about ensuring your participation in this cosmic cycle. By preserving your physical form, you provided a stable anchor for your Kaya and Baya to return to, allowing for the nightly reunion that transformed you into an Ak. This transformation was your personal rebirth, your entry into the unending dance of existence. Without that perfectly preserved body, that your spiritual components would have been adrift, unable to complete their cycle. The Book of the Dead also contains hymns and prayers to various gods, particularly Ra, the sun god, and Osiris, the lord of the underworld. These are expressions of devotion, but also strategic appeals for divine assistance. You are not just relying on your own magical prowess, you are also seeking the favor of the powerful deities who govern the realms of the dead. It's like having a very impressive resume, but also a few very powerful references. An obscure detail about this cosmic dance is the concept of Ak-making. While the Book of the Dead was often called the Book of Coming Forth by Day, its ultimate goal was the transformation of the deceased into an Ak, a transfigured, effective, and glorious spirit. This wasn't just about reaching paradise, it was about becoming a luminous, powerful being, capable of interacting with the gods and participating in the cosmic order. It's like graduating from being a mere soul to becoming a spiritual superhero, with all the perks that entails. You encounter a spell known as Spell 30B, the Heart Scarab spell. This was one of the most crucial spells, often inscribed on a heart-shaped scarab amulet placed on the deceased's chest. Its purpose was to prevent the heart from testifying against the deceased during the weighing of the heart ceremony. O my heart which I had from my mother, O my heart which I had from my mother, O my heart of my forms. Do not stand up as a witness against me. Do not oppose me in the tribunal. Do not make a separation against me in the presence of the great God, the Lord of the West. It's a plea, a desperate wish for your own conscience not to rat you out. Imagine your heart literally snitching on you during your final judgment. Talk about a betrayal. The very architecture of their tombs and temples reflects this cyclical worldview. The pyramids, those colossal stairways to the heavens, were designed to facilitate the pharaoh's ascent to the stars, where they would join the circumpolar stars, the imperishable ones, and participate in the eternal journey of Ra. Even the orientation of temples, aligned with celestial events, spoke of their deep connection to the cosmic rhythms. They built their beliefs into the very landscape. The sheer volume of spells and the intricate details within them speak to the Egyptians' profound desire for control over their destiny. Even in death, they weren't passively accepting whatever fate awaited them. They were actively preparing, arming themselves with knowledge and magic to ensure a favorable outcome. It's a testament to their ingenuity and their unwavering belief in the power of words and rituals. One of the ongoing academic debates among Egyptologists concerns the extent to which the concept of rebirth in the Egyptian afterlife was a literal reincarnation or a spiritual renewal within the duat. While the emphasis was on the deceased becoming an Ak and living eternally in the field of reeds. Scholars still debate whether there was a belief in returning to earthly life in a new form, or if the rebirth was purely spiritual. The nuances of their understanding of reincarnation versus eternal spiritual existence continue to be a subject of scholarly interpretation. You feel the weight of this knowledge not as a burden, but as a source of immense comfort and empowerment. With the Book of the Dead as your guide, the terrifying unknowns of the duat become less daunting, more navigable. You have a plan, a strategy, a way to overcome the challenges that lie ahead. It's like having Google Maps for the afterlife, but with more demons and less traffic. You feel a profound sense of interconnectedness. the life of the Nile, the journey of the sun, the myth of Osiris, all are interwoven, forming a coherent philosophical framework that explained the universe and humanity's place within it. Your own existence, even in the afterlife, is part of this grand, eternal flow. You are not just an individual soul, you are a participant in the cosmic drama, a tiny but vital part of the divine plan. As you absorb these ancient texts, you realize that the Book of the Dead was not just a guide for the deceased, it was also a comfort for the living. Knowing that their loved ones had these powerful spells and protections provided solace and reassurance that they were doing everything possible to ensure a successful journey for the departed. It was a shared belief, a communal effort to conquer the ultimate unknown. The Egyptians believed that by participating in this cycle, by living a life in accordance with Ma'at and successfully navigating the Duat, you were not just securing your own eternal bliss, but also contributing to the maintenance of cosmic order. Every justified soul, every Ak that reached the field of reeds, strengthened Ma'at and helped Ra in his eternal battle against chaos. It's like everyone doing their part to keep the universe running smoothly. A cosmic community service. The spells also contain instructions for the living, guiding them on how to perform the rituals, how to make offerings, and how to interact with the deceased's tomb. The Book of the Dead was a bridge between the two worlds, a continuous dialogue between the living and the dead, ensuring the continuity of the soul. The concept of time itself in the Egyptian worldview was often cyclical rather than linear. Events were seen as repeating, with patterns of creation, destruction, and renewal. This contrasted sharply with a purely linear view of history, where time moves only forward. For the Egyptians, the past, present, and future were intertwined in an eternal loop of becoming. It's like a cosmic Groundhog Day, but in a good way, where every day is a chance for renewal. You sense the presence of other souls, some struggling, some moving with ease. The difference, you realize, often lies in their preparation, in the knowledge they possess. Those who are armed with the spells of the Book of the Dead move with a quiet confidence, while others appear lost, bewildered by the shifting landscape of the Duat. It's a stark reminder that in the afterlife, knowledge truly is power. You recall the importance of your name, your identity. To be remembered, to have your name spoken, was to ensure your continued existence in this cosmic dance. The living had a responsibility to keep the memory of the deceased alive, through offerings and remembrance, thus ensuring their continued participation in the cycle of rebirth. It's a powerful bond between generations, a promise of eternal remembrance. As you continue to assimilate the wisdom of these ancient texts, you feel a growing sense of readiness. The initial disorientation of death has faded, replaced by a clear understanding of your path. Your body is secure, your tomb is provisioned, and now, your mind, or rather, your spiritual consciousness is armed with the ultimate guide. The next stage of your journey will take you directly into the heart of the Duat, where these spells will be put to the ultimate test, and you will face the very challenges they were designed to overcome. Even the tools and rituals used in mummification, like the opening of the mouth ceremony, were designed to facilitate this rebirth. By symbolically restoring your senses, they ensured you could fully participate in the afterlife, eat, drink, and speak. Just as you did in life, it was a ritualistic reanimation, preparing you for your renewed existence. With the wisdom of the Book of the Dead now deeply imprinted upon your spiritual consciousness, you feel a profound shift in the ethereal landscape around you. The gentle, liminal space you occupied after death gives way to something far more complex, more imposing. You are no longer merely drifting. You are actively entering the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, a vast and labyrinthine realm that stretches beneath the earth and through the cosmic waters. It's less a single destination and more a multi-stage obstacle course, a series of trials designed to test your worthiness, your knowledge, and your resolve. The cosmic dance is not just about the individual, it's about the entire universe. The stars, the planets, the very fabric of existence are all part of this grand, cyclical process. You, as an Ak, are now part of this celestial ballet, moving in harmony with the divine rhythms of creation. The journey through the Duat is often depicted as a nocturnal voyage, mirroring the sun god Ra's nightly passage through these very same realms. As Ra battles the forces of chaos to be reborn each morning, so too must you navigate these treacherous paths to achieve your own resurrection. You feel the air grow heavier, cooler, yet strangely vibrant with unseen energies. The soft, diffuse light gives way to an eerie glow, emanating from unseen sources, casting long, dancing shadows that seem to twist and writhe with a life of their own. The Field of Reeds, therefore, is not just a final destination. It is a place of perpetual renewal, a vibrant part of the ongoing cosmic dance. You are not simply resting, you are thriving, participating, and contributing to the eternal order. It's a paradise that is dynamic, alive, and constantly reaffirming the power of rebirth. You find yourself on a winding path, perhaps beside a dark, sluggish river, or through a cavernous hall. The Book of the Dead whispers guidance. It spells a constant hum in your spiritual ear. This immediate section of the Duat is often guarded by fearsome beings, not necessarily evil, but certainly intimidating. You might encounter a gate guarded by a monstrous serpent with multiple heads, or a ferryman with a surly disposition. These are the gatekeepers, the first line of defense, and they demand specific passwords, names, or spells to grant passage. It's like a very exclusive, very dangerous club, and you need to know the secret handshake. As you reflect on this grand design, you feel a profound sense of awe. The ancient Egyptians, through their observations of nature and their deep spiritual insights, constructed a worldview that offered not just hope for the afterlife, but a comprehensive understanding of existence itself. Death was not an end, but a gateway. Life was not fleeting, but part of an eternal flow. A common historical fact is that the Duat was traditionally divided into 12 regions, or hours of the night, each presenting unique challenges and populated by different deities and demons. Think of it as 12 distinct levels in a video game, each with its own boss fight and mini-quests. The first few hours often involved navigating watery passages, encountering strange creatures, and proving your knowledge of the underworld's geography. The gentle hum of the Field of Reeds now feels like the very pulse of the cosmos, a steady, rhythmic beat that speaks of unending renewal. You are immersed in this cosmic dance, a timeless participant in the grand cycle of creation, death, and glorious rebirth. It's a beautiful, comforting thought as you drift deeper into the peace of eternal existence. As you proceed, you might encounter the Caverns of the West, where the sun god Ra begins his nightly journey. Here, you might see shadowy figures, other deceased souls, some moving with purpose, others seemingly trapped in eternal slumber or torment. This is a stark reminder that not all souls make it through. The Duat is not a guaranteed passage to paradise, it's a filtering process. A crucible designed to separate the worthy from the unworthy,